Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new tutorial series. In this tutorial series, I will show you how you can create custom Gutenberg blocks from the scratch. At the later part of this series, I will also show you how you can create custom Gutenberg sidebars and uses meta boxes with it. So let's get started. So let's create our plugin structure first. So I already created a plugin or folder into the WordPress directory and named it Learn Gutenberg block, but it's totally empty. So let's form our plugin structure here. At first, let's create a file and let's name it Learn Gutenberg block. This will be our main plugin file. And what we also need, we need a folder called assets. And within the assets, we need another folder for the CSS to store. And then we need another folder, and we will name it SRC, in which all of our scripts will be kept here. Okay, so another thing we also need a package.json file in order to install those npm packages. So let's create that. Alright, we also need some more things in the SRC. So let's create a folder in SRC and named it blocks. And in the SRC, let's create a file called index.js, which will be our main index file, our main JavaScript entry file. Alright, so let's open the package.json and fill up this file with some informations we need. The first one we need is the name, and we name it Learn Gutenberg blocks, and then we need the version, description, define the main script, also we need to define the scripts in order to run with the npm. Let's create a start and we'll say wp scripts start. So that when we run npm run start, then it will run the wp scripts start. And then let's do another for the build. What this will do, this will create a build folder and build all the scripts, minified everything. And next, let's add the author. Add the license, okay. So next, let's add the dep dependency as well. And it will be WordPress/scripts as we are using this. and we will be using the version 10 or latest. And for the dependencies, we will keep this blank for now. We will install what we need later. Alright, so this is the package.json file for us. It's a pretty simple file, nothing too fancy here. So alright, so in the next the next step is to go to learn Gutenberg-block.php and add some necessary things here, because we haven't initialized any plugin name here. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so I think we are pretty good here. That will let the WordPress know that this is a plugin and its name is Learn Gutenberg Blocks. Alright, so the next thing I will do, I will block any direct access from the URL. So let's do like defined ABS path, then exit. So it is no direct access allowed. Okay, so I will not form this plugin file in a real appropriate way with a class oriented way. The main focus is to show the Gutenberg things, so I just do the necessary things only here. So at first let us define the register the Gutenberg scripts that we're gonna need in the future. So let's do register Gutenberg scripts. So for this we need to call a hook, and the hook name is enq-block editor assets. And with it we will pass an anonymous function. And here we will use the WP NQA script. And this is the script, so we need to say like let's say learn Gutenberg editor script. This is the ID of the script, and then we need to pass the URL from where we're gonna import the script. So it's plugins URL, inside that, and this world will be generated in the build folder, because at first we will run the build folder, and from that it will generate the JavaScript files there, and then a file from everything will be loaded. So let's call the build index.js like this, and the file path. And here after that we need to pass an array in where we need to define all the dependencies. So for this I will add all the dependencies here at a time, so that we do not need to add those later. So the first dependency is the WP plugins, because in the future we will use this as a, we'll call the plugin so that we can use the Gutenberg sidebar. And the next one is WP blocks, because we will use some block things. And then the WP editor, we are definitely gonna use the editor assets. And the next script we need to depend on is the WP edit post, and we also need WP I18N for internationalization. And then we also need WP element, because we are going to also use those things. Also WP components, and finally we're going to use WP data. So these are the scripts that are our scripts is dependent on, so we need to include those like this. Alright, so we are done with the register Gutenberg scripts. The next thing is to register the styles. Now for Gutenbergs we need to use two different styles, one for the editor part and another for the front end part that will gonna show with the theme. So we need these two separately, because you need to handle the editor part differently, or you may need to handle the front end themes part differently. So for this, in the CSS folder we will create two different files. One is style.css and another is editor.css. So style.css, this will be responsible for showing the styles for these Gutenberg blocks into the theme side or into the very front end, and the editor.css will be responsible for the styling of the editor end of the Gutenberg. I think we need to save the package.json. And here now I will register those files. So let's say register styles, and we need to, for the styles we already know we need to use the WP enqueue scripts hooks. So let's call our action WP and let's pass the function here, and we gonna call WP enqueue style. Alright, so the first parameter is, I think we misspelled it. Alright, so the first parameter is the handle name, so we can say learn Gutenberg block style, and then the URL, it will be stored in assets /css /style.css. and the file, and no dependencies here. We set it to false, and for media we need to say all. Alright, so this is the registered style, or we can say enqueue style. We are enqueuing it, and let's copy this and duplicate it. And for the editor, we need to say the admin enqueue scripts. So let's change this to admin, and learn Gutenberg block style. We need to say learn Gutenberg let's say block editor style, and we also need to change this from CSS to editor. Alright, so that would be it for the enqueuing the styles. Alright, so we are good here. So although we just added those things, we haven't added the index.js yet, because we haven't run the build command from the npm. So we also need those things, but let's set up everything first, so that will be much more comfortable. So at the last, what I will do, I will register a block so that we can use this block into the Gutenberg. So let's say register a block. So here I will say add action, and the hook is init hook, and we also pass the function here. And inside that, we need to call the register block type function. And it will definitely accept some parameters. The first one is the you can set the namespace of your blocks. So it is always good to use the unique namespace first. So let's say learn Gutenberg block, like this. And let's create a call to action custom Gutenberg block, so you can understand this easily. Okay, and lastly, it's gonna accept we need to pass an array by which we will define which are the styles for it and which are the scripts for it. So the first one is the style, that is the style gonna use in the front end of the theme. So here we need to pass the ID. So we just copy it so we do not misspell it. Okay, the next thing is the editor style, editor underscore style, remember. So the editor style is this one. Let's copy and paste. And the next one is the editor scripts. Okay, so the scripts ID is this one, learn Gutenberg. Let's keep it like this, block dash. So learn Gutenberg block editor script. Alright, so far for this file we are good to go. We added the assets here, dependencies of the files here, we added the styles here, and we also initialized a block from here. So now let's open our console and install the npm real quick. So let's do npm install, and it will take some moment, so let's come back when it's done. Our npm install is going on, but I have found some typo errors, so let's fix those real quick. Let's see, it should be scripts, scripts, like this, and it will also be like scripts. Alright, so as you can see, our npm installation has been done, and the node modules folder has been added here as well. So it's time to run our two commands from there. So at first we will run the npm run build. So it will build a folder and create an index.js file from our source index.js file. So let's do it. Let's clear the screen first. So let's run npm run build. So as you can see, the command has run successfully and the build folder has been created, and inside that there is a index.js folder file, and inside that there are some encrypted or minified JavaScript that's we have imported here. As you can see, build/index.js. So the next thing what we will do, we will run the npm run start. Now what this will do, this will run the scripts, and this will continuously watching our changes, so that we do not need to run the command again and again after any kind of changes. So let's do npm run start, and it should build everything, and it should start watching our codes. Alright, so as you can see that it runs successfully, and it is actually watching our files as well. To verify that, let's go into the index.js of the src folder, and let's write an alert, and let's say hi, it is loaded, and let's save. And as you can see, the script was watching, and let's copy this and let's search into the index build folder, and as you can see, it is already here. So our scripts and everything is working nicely. Alright, so into the next video, what I will do, I will start creating the real Gutenberg block. We'll create a call to action custom block from the scratch. So till then, bye bye. So see you in the next video.